And I want to say this really chimed in with me when I found, I've actually can't find the quote now, but when I found his little piece that talks about this process of recognizing that the self-acceptance thing doesn't quite work, it chimed in with me because I realized greenlighting is a little different, a little broader or a little more refined than self-acceptance. And I remember trying to accept myself for years. Some of you might have done that work. And there are teachings out there like Tara Brach's work on radical acceptance that come out of a different tradition. Now, there's some piece that's not in the self-acceptance teachings that is there in greenlighting. And it's that subtle distinction that's really important. Why? When I'm trying to accept myself, it's as if I'm trying to do it from the outside in. That's how I would put it now. I might find a more refined way to say it. It's like there is a me here that's trying to accept the me here. So the moment that Samuel thought, and that was the moment where the term greenlighting arose for him, and it came, as many of you know, from the movie making tradition. And so greenlighting in that tradition is when a script or a movie gets the green light to go forward and manifest. Yeah. So greenlighting to me sits right up against the very creation point, what I'm calling the center or the core, also shows up in the whole being evolution map as the creation point, right? And it says yes. It says yes to creation. So the green lighting of the movie is a yes to something coming into form, the movie. Yeah. So this is a yes to the self and to the arising and coming into form of your very own self. Now, it's tricky when we're living in a setting, or when we're in spiritual settings where the teacher is up there on a stage and all eyes are on that teacher, and it's almost as if our center is over there with the teacher, with the guru, with the king or the queen, because that's what they've been like for us. They've been in this place of royalty. And okay, we experience the beauty of devotion, and we love to bow, or whatever our form of expression of appreciation was. But there was this displacement of the center. So green lighting is a welcoming into form of our very fundamental self-nature. Sometimes I think of it as, for those of you that are open to this language, it welcomes the subtle soul nature dimension to fully embody. And why hasn't it happened before now in this way? Because the world has sucked. I mean, some people would say that it still does. Many of you might say that. But when I look at history, and I'm a bit of a scholar, it's been a pretty brutal place to be a body for many years. If we think of the kind of ways that we treated people 400 years ago, the way that we might have punished people by drawing and quartering and hanging and so on. There's a tradition that I often reflect on called swaddling, where we would take a little baby and we would wrap it up, and it seemed to be all nice and cozy. But in fact, we bound these little babies. This was happening up until the 17th and 18th century. I think it was Jean-Jacques Rousseau who complained about it. And we had hooks in the house where we would hang the baby. So form was a rough place to be for this super sensitive self that we are. That is birthing now with greater and greater clarity. So it's only been now that we have this relative degree of mutual care and comfort in form and relative to the range in the world, that this form of whole beingness can show up, that we can bring the divine into form, heaven onto earth and into earth in this unique way that's showing up now in this work. So Samuel had a moment, and when he recognized that distinction between self-acceptance, which is really an outcome, and greenlighting, which is a welcoming, an invitation and a process, and a pointing to the heart of, or to the center, to the initiation point of the self. That was fundamental.